fintech industry has undergone a dramatic evolution in the last 5 years. Little more in the last 10 years, though, driven by rapid innovation and shifting market demands. From changing payment behaviors to rising SME expectations, the landscape looks very different today. We'll unpack these trends and insights once again with Raman. 5 years ago and today, what has changed in the landscape, in the fintech landscape? In two parts, I want the answer. One is in India, and the second is what's happening globally in the markets where you are.
Okay, I'll talk first about India. And to get a bigger perspective, better perspective, let's look 10 years, not 5 years. 5 years is...
Done.
And I'll split that into, because we've discussed this a lot internally. I'll split that into like 5 segments of 2 years each.
Okay.
Starting with 2014 to 16.
Okay.
Those were the years, the foundational years. The foundation was laid in terms of PMJDY was launched. The wallets were bringing small ticket use cases into the digital payments ambit, like bill payments, cab rides, and UPI was born.
Correct.
So this is what happened in 2014 to 16. 16 to 18, Geo came in, transformed data like never before. Data went on from being a luxury to a basic right, was on everybody's phone. Demonetizations accelerated the digital payment penetration because people had no choice.
Yes, correct.
And UPI just took off because global players like Google, through Google Pay, started investing big time to make UPI a habit. That was 16 to 18. 18 to 20 was when fintech actually went full stack. We saw digital lending coming in. We saw the birth of neobanks. InsurTech started taking shape. And then 20, thanks to the pandemic, there was this lockdown and the infrastructure got tested because there was no choice.
Correct.
UPI crossed 1 billion transactions a month during that period. We saw the account aggregator and ONDC framework getting launched. And then came the moment of reckoning, 22 to 24, where focus shifted to profitability and consolidation and compliance. Earlier, when the theme was growth at any cost, now people started looking at unit economics, which was the right thing to do, because for any ecosystem to mature, to be sustainable, it has to be profitable. And that's what happened in 22, 24. 24 onwards, it's been more about expanding credit through credit on UPI. There is, of course, a lot of noise around AI. And yes, Indian startups are ready to go global. So that's how I would define the last 10 years of the India fintech landscape and it's evident in numbers as well. Pre-2014, digital payments as a percentage of PCE was about 5.5%.
Correct.
Today it's 48%. That's like, wow. I mean, considering the fact that that number used to inch 0.5% every year, 2017, there were 16, there were about 1 million merchants accepting digital.
Correct.
Today, there are 60 million merchants accepting digital.
Absolutely.
I have spent my entire life in payments. I could never fathom way back in 2016, an era would come and merchants would say, scan kar lo na, cash kyun de rahe ho? I don't use cash, but I have heard that. Interestingly, when we moved out of Visa in 2017, March 2017, there were 500 million digital transactions that happened during that month. on debit cards and credit cards because that was digital. UPI was 36 million. Fast forward March 2025, 11 billion UPI transactions. The number of transactions on credit cards and debit cards is still 500 million because debit cards went down, credit went up, but that number has stayed stagnant. That's like massive, massive.
True that. So, slightly off, what's likely to disrupt this in the next 2 years, 3 years?
Disrupt what? UPI?
What's going on? Yes. What's likely to disrupt?
I don't see disruption is a very abused word.
Okay.
Started in 2008 when post the global financial crisis, everybody wanted to disrupt legacy players, especially in the fintech space. People predicted banks would get disrupted. When 20-25 banks are stronger than ever before, a lot of fintechs perished. So I wouldn't say disruption, but things would evolve. My sense is with what's happening with AI, a lot of things will change. The way today, like in our space, merchants are onboarded. It's a phygital model, but there's a big element of physical. Somebody has to go because SMEs are pampered. Now you can get the AI to reach out at the time when the SME is comfortable. If they have a problem, today they're calling the bank or their provider. All those things will get resolved with AI. So AI will ease a lot of the friction. There is still a lot of friction that exists. That will get resolved thanks to what's happening on the AI side. I don't think disruption is the right word to use. We will continue the penetration of digital payment. Digital payments will continue to grow. There's still a lot of cash. And personal consumption expenditure also, 52% is still cash, 52, 55%. You look at mature economies, they are like their digital penetration is upwards of 65, 66%.
So AI making it easier, I totally get. The flip side is AI is going to make digital payments tougher because there's going to be all kinds of fake, right? I can do identity, I can do voice, I can do face, I can do sign, I can do everything. Is that likely to also impact digital payments? Because the positive side of AI, everyone's speaking of. Nobody's speaking about this side of AI, where today I can do just about anything.
So you're right. That scare is there, but I think the tailwinds are so strong because at the same time, fraudsters are always 2 steps ahead, but then the ecosystem catches up. So there will be interim pain points, challenges, but the ecosystem also evolves at the same pace. Otherwise, the world would have crashed long back. So,
okay. So moving out of AI, I know everybody loves that conversation.
Sorry.
What trends are really defining the preferences of your merchants today, the SME merchants today?
If there's one word to use for SMEs in India, it's resilience. Rewind 10 years ago, everybody, when big box retailers, large online players, they were coming in, pretty much everybody had predicted the death of SME and retail.
Correct.
These guys adapted. They put their arms around the customer. They started doing home delivery. They started extending credit to the customers. E-com is still a small fraction of overall ordering, big chunk of it. Switch back last year, and over the last 12 months, pretty much most of media has been predicting the death of Kirana and SME thanks to quick commerce.
That's not happening.
New Goliath. I'll tell you what we see in our data. For us, let's talk grocers, Kiranas. That's a shade less than 10% of our portfolio. Over the last 1 year, we have seen 34% same-store growth.
Correct.
And you go out and see, they are embracing tech faster than ever before. They're looking at customer engagement, they're looking at feedback, there's WhatsApp ordering, there's online catalogs and prompt deliveries. And they know the customer.
Correct.
The trust is so high. So, while people still predict the death of Kirana, I would bet against it. I mean, these guys have seen this movie before. And if history is any indicator, with them, the sequel is always stronger than the original version.
So I was in retail in the early 2000s, and I remember when the entire e-commerce thing was happening, and everyone told us that, oh, kiranas are not going to exist. And I'm talking about early 2000s, and we're in 24, and nothing's happened in 24 years. Other than one shift, which is that the second generation seems to be going out of that business.
The more are coming in.
Yeah, so the existing generation is evolving. The second generation is finding alternatives. Chances are with technology, but that's an interesting one. How have you seen technology scale Mintalk as across regions on the whole journey, from, I think, onboarding all the way to support?
Okay. So as I said, we talk about how we've leveraged technology for scaling.
Yes.
For us, our entire architecture, the way the platform is architected, it's microservices, completely modular. As I said, banks can pick and choose what they want depending on their needs. So let's look at India. India, the big challenge or the pain point was, how do you get more SMEs to start accepting digital payments? Because earlier, payments was infra intensive. You cannot give a POS terminal to every SME because it's so expensive. As we said, so in India, we adopted a payments first approach where a smartphone app allows pretty much any merchant, any SME who has a smartphone to accept payments and then access financial services also on the same app. That's India. You go to Middle East. Middle East, the payments business case has been solved long back. Everybody has a POS terminal. Everybody accepts digital payments.
Correct.
But you still have that financial services layer that is missing. How do you engage that SME? So we went in with the companion app strategy where for every POS terminal, we get the business owner to download the app. This app on his or her phone provides them real-time and historical insights and intel about their business, irrespective of their location. That's the first level of engagement. You are ensuring that this SME is looking at this app at least once, if not more times a day. Because they are looking, it gives the ability to the bank or the platform provider to run campaigns to engage them more, run loyalty to build stickiness. Because once they start looking at that app, it's easy to push cross-sell offers like pre-approved loans, cards for a person who's not coming to the branch. So that's what we launched in the Middle East. So it's the same set of modules that are available. How you package, that's how we solve the modular architecture. Onboarding for us, interestingly, all across has been completely digital. In some markets like India, it's instant. So you get the SME to download the app. They don't have to input any data. They just upload their documents, ID proof, address proof. We have APIs that extract data from those documents. We populate the form. In markets like India, we authenticate with paying regulatory databases like RTO, NSDL to validate those documents. Then we do a liveness check. We get them to switch on the video, do geotagging, and the app is live. Same thing, we collect data digitally pretty much everywhere. In some markets outside India where it's not easy to validate real time, we hand over digital data to the bank. Once they approve, do we activate the merchant? But it's completely digital. So there's no place where the merchant has to fill in any data, no risk of any data entry errors. That's what it's almost similar, just the last leg differs depending on the regulations in the country.
Okay. And number of banks limited, number of SMEs unlimited. Where does that fit for you?
Let's talk India. With banks, we went, as I said, we signed up HDFC in 2020. Today, we have 3 of the largest banks as our clients. We power their apps, HDFC, SBI, Axis. We have, first year was a complete wash-off, lockdown. Last 4 years, we've got a shade over 3.5 million merchants who use our apps through these banks. I don't know good or bad, but if you look at the number of SME customers these 3 banks have, that number is in excess of 25 million. So we still have a long way to go. And the beauty is because all these customers, like the SME customers, are in a business, are accepting payments. You don't need to give them a POS terminal. They have smartphones. It's just about converting them. So the runway is massive.
And my last question of this conversation, and I know I can go on, but I'm going to kind of rein it in right now. What's your do big mantra for young entrepreneurs who are going to enter the fintech space? Likely to be your competitors.
Don't chase buzzwords, chase workflows. Everybody, I see a lot of people looking around for the next $1 billion idea. And sometimes the real gold lies in some badly formatted Excel sheets or friction point that you see in customers or merchants. So pitch less, listen more. And once you identify those friction points, you have to look for those friction points that are too small for the big players to solve. Once you identify that, build like a coder, sell like a storyteller, and have the resilience of a cockroach.
I love that.
That's. You don't have to start with a $1 billion idea. Newton was born 400 years ago. If you wait for a Newton type of an idea, that ain't coming. But there is so much of opportunity. You have to be obsessed about what you saw and then be perseverant.
On that wonderful advice of digging in like a cockroach, thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure having you on the Do Big podcast, an absolute pleasure having this conversation.
No,
thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here. I just love the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.